Just how much anticipation is there for the Reds this season? Well, if you ask the locker room for the Reds, quite a bit.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily source for all things Cincinnati Reds. I'm Stephen Offenbaker, and my co-host Jeff Carr. You just heard from him. We love baseball. We love these Cincinnati Reds, and we have taken our love of the game. We have taken our love for this team in Cincinnati, and we have turned it into information for you. Locked On Reds is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And on today's podcast, Jeff and I, we are going to the bullpen, and we're bringing in Lucas Sims. That's right. We are joined today by Cincinnati Reds relief pitcher Lucas Sims, who, believe it or not, is now the longest tenured member of this Cincinnati Reds team. Can you believe that? When we looked that up, kind of blew me away a bit. There it is. He is now the aged veteran of the Reds, with Joey Votto seemingly departed town for good. Before we get into our conversation with Lucas, I want to shout out the sponsor of today's podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 back in bonus bets guaranteed when you place any $5 bet. That's right. You can take Jeff's advice on the over and still win $150. Visit FanDuel.com/locked on to get started today. And without further ado, we are going to dive into our conversation with Reds relief pitcher Lucas Sims. 2024 has to be one of the most anticipated seasons in Reds country in a long, long time. There is an air of expectation building around this team. Do you feel that? Or are you feeling that way heading into now? Spring training is almost here, and we're getting ready to fire baseball up in 2024.
Absolutely. We noticed it last season at the ballpark. I remember looking at, I want to say it was Luke Maley before one of our games. I think it was a Tuesday game. I don't know, middle of summer. And we were going out before the anthem. We're sitting in the dugout, and I kind of like looked around and I go, Mail's kind of a little bit of a buzz here tonight. And he goes, yeah, like you can just sense it. You can sense it from there. And I looked at him. I go, there hadn't been a buzz on a Tuesday game in July against whoever. I hadn't seen that in a while here. And so he started sensing it then. And then, Reds Fest every year. I guess this would have been my fifth or sixth or I lose track how many Reds Fest it's been. But even then, you can see the excitement of all the fans coming through. Everybody was talking about how they're looking forward to it. And I think with that comes, there is a decent amount of pressure there. But I think this group is so good about staying even keel. Even last year, we were pretty young. Nobody ever panicked. There's no panic. We just go about and play our game, try and play it the right way. Play hard, play for each other, and generally the rest kind of just takes care of itself. So I know the fans are excited. We're very excited as well. Kind of that Reds Fest too. It's right about that time, about halfway. You get to check in and see people, and everybody seems like everybody's fired up and can't wait to get to spring and play our brand of baseball.
Yeah, that's something that the moves that the Reds have made this offseason, I think, have added to it, because it started back in the summer with Matt McLain getting called up and Ellie De La Cruz getting called up, and all these young guys kind of coming together at the same time to add to the core of this team and really show that the Reds can be here for a long time. And then they go out and they sign a bunch of guys coming this offseason. What was your perspective on that? Because we as fans, we were like, okay, they need to go get this and they need to go sign this and maybe trade for this or something like that. You as a player obviously have a different point of view from all of that. How did you feel about the different additions that the Reds made?
I'm excited. I think they went out and tried to address some, I don't want to say issues, but they went out and looking to improve the team. I think they did just that. The guys that we brought in, I've never met them before, most of them. I know Suter a little bit, so I'm excited to have him in the fold. But everybody I've talked to has had nothing but great things to say about the people that we've brought in. And, I watch from either TV or from the other side of the fence, but, excited to have those guys. I know they're going to help us out a lot. And I think they're going to fit right in, and, excited for those guys to be here. And, it's go time. I think we expect a lot of ourselves. We expect to win. So fired up to have those guys in the fold with us.
Lucas, people that cover the team always make a big deal about number of rookies, and they talk about experience versus inexperience. And the Reds have made their living the last few years with rookie debuts, lots and lots of new faces, debuts, rookies coming up. But with the additions to the bullpen, now there's some bona fide major league experience that is now infused into this bullpen to go along with guys like yourself that had plenty now on year 7. And, Alexis is now heading into year 3. You've got guys that, have a little bit of experience behind them now. What kind of difference does that make in a bullpen, in a group of pitchers that are showing up to Goodyear and getting their work done to prepare for a season? Does it make it easier to get ready for the season when you don't have as much rookies in debut and you have this experienced group of veterans?
I'd say probably so. There's just more experience. We're always trying to learn. Especially myself, I'm always trying to learn and improve and see how I can advance my game. You start bringing in people that have a lot of experience and have had a lot of success in the major leagues. It's just another opportunity to learn, kind of pick their brains, and what has kind of made you successful, and just kind of expound on that. And then another big part is getting to know them as a person, and that's another great part about spring is there's a lot of different faces, a lot of different bodies in there, but sitting down having breakfast or lunch and going out to stretch or going out to eat or whatever. Getting to know them as a person, and then I think that always kind of helps. Once you're out there between the lines, it makes it that much easier to pull for them and pull on the same side of the rope for sure.
Who's kind of become, and I know that I had heard on an interview that Brent Suter gave with Lance McAllister that he had said that he had known you a little bit from the Nuxall Miracle League banquets and stuff like that over the last few years. What's it like bringing a guy like that in that you have a little bit of at least a friendship with, where you kind of like, dude, you're coming in to work with me. Let's go. This is going to be
So
awesome.
I saw when the first report came out that he was going to sign with us. I called him. I was in the car, called him immediately and just told him, what up, teammate? And, he's super happy. I was super happy for him, super happy to have him as a teammate too. I've heard nothing but good things. DJ knows him from his time in Milwaukee. So I stay in contact with DJ, and we're excited to have him, not just as a pitcher, but, what he brings for the clubhouse and kind of just a different attitude, a great attitude, but, a different personality to have come in. And yeah, it's exciting for sure.
There's a lot more where that came from, but before we get to that, I want to tell you about one of today's sponsors, and that is eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and the prices that you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit only available to U.S. customers. Thanks as always for making Locked On Reds your first listen every single day. For those of you everydayers out there, we have another part to this Lucas Sims interview coming up tomorrow, going to look back on some memories, including we're going to get a great story about the extra detailed version of the sleet game, the freezing rain game that, Lucas Sims had to pitch through. And, remember he was tossing out all the baseballs that the umpire kept throwing to him. Got a lot of fun details coming for you tomorrow on that, but there's plenty more to get to where it comes to the expectations for this season with Lucas Sims coming up here in just a minute. Before we do, wanted to remind you that Locked On has created the first ever 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today brings you the local news with all of the local experts like myself and Steve, and the national news from our league shows. Check out the Locked On Sports Today YouTube page, the 24/7 feed right now, and make sure you subscribe to the first ever 24/7 sports streaming channel, Locked On Sports Today. All right, let's get back to our chat with Lucas. This past offseason was your final year of going through the arbitration process and doing all of that with the Reds. And I know that a couple of years you went to the arbitration hearing with them. And this offseason, you came to terms on a new contract before you had to go through that whole process. If you could walk us through that a little bit, because us as fans, like we hear the reports of like Jonathan India is going to go to arbitration with the team. And then we hear reports that, Lucas Sims and TJ Antone and those guys, Tyler Stevenson, are avoiding arbitration by signing a contract. What is that process like for you? Because obviously you're in the thick of it. This is about you and the team and how you guys kind of come together on that.
Yeah. So to keep it pretty simple, after the tender deadline, I guess it was last Thursday was the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the Reds, the team will reach out generally the day of or the day before. And, you kind of, your agent and the team, they do all their homework and say, they pull together a couple comps who have had similar seasons and kind of all around a lot of similarities. And it's just kind of a back and forth. And, you're trying to just kind of find that middle ground of, where you think you're valued at. Sometimes there's big differences. Sometimes there's little. It's all just negotiations, really. Sometimes the team takes a stance, and then other times, the beauty of it is, if you can't, then you have a chance to go to a hearing and then go in front of 3 separate people and present your case. And if it's all great if you win, and if you lose, it is what it is. It's definitely unique. Each team's different. I'm glad we were able to come to terms on terms of the contract this year, and now it's just play ball at this point.
Yeah,
just following up on the arbitration piece of it. We've heard stories. Sean Casey tells a great story about his arbitration experience when Jim Bowden was the general manager in Cincinnati. I forget the guy that was a relief pitcher down in Tampa that shared his arbitration experiences. And
Ryan Thompson, I think.
Yes. Talking about how, basically the team came in with these stats that he had never heard of before. And, it felt like the stats made him look like he just never got a guy out and, made him feel terrible. And, we've seen Corbin Burns in Milwaukee come away with genuine hurt feelings and a strained relationship with the team. Was your arbitration experience, was it acrimonious when you were actually in the hearings? Were you able to come away with it and still, feel okay versus, because as you say, every team's different. So it may not necessarily be the case where the Reds are that aggressive versus say what Tampa did.
Yeah. I've reached out to Jonathan just about my experience with it, with his first time going through. The Reds were fine. It's it's just all on the field. There's, I've heard stories of attacking character and this, that, and the other. And, it's all on the field stuff. And personally, I can only speak for myself, but for me, it kind of made me look in the mirror a little bit, because maybe in the hearing, they said some things that not many people would say, or that I wouldn't say to myself, or, to me, it was pretty eye-opening, as like, all right, obviously I haven't reached, anywhere where I want to be anyway, as far as accomplishments and goals or whatever. But, you kind of hear some, and you're like, all right, here's some things I can maybe improve on as a baseball player. I thought it's not the greatest thing. I mean, you sit there it's about 4 hours. 2 hours of it are great, where you present your case and you're like, yes, this is great. I'm the best. And then the other 2 hours are like, well, you're not as good as you think you are. So, I don't know. I'm a glass half full kind of person. So throughout that process, in retrospect, now it's like, all right, well, I heard some things that maybe was uncomfortable, but I think I'm better because of it now.
No, and that makes sense. And I've always kind of wondered, coming from the bullpen, how do they evaluate that? Because, like, I know that for most of us fans, like, we start by asking, well, how many saves does the guy have? Do they like knock you if you don't come in with 30 saves, 40 saves? Or is it something where they're able to kind of separate? Do they go on holds? Or I know that Tampa did the whole meltdowns and all that stuff.
It's all unique. I don't know. I can't, with 29 other clubs, I've only been through the process with the Reds, but everybody's different.
Sure.
It's really about your representation and hoping that they put together the best case possible. And there's so much that goes into it, but the basic ones are, ERA and a hold, saves, leverage index is a big one too. So a lot of it just kind of comes down to your role. What kind of role did you fulfill for most of the season?
All right, we are having a great time with Lucas Sims. I hope you're having a great time too. There is plenty more where that came from. We're going to dive right back into our conversation with Lucas Sims right after this. You can follow us in between episodes on all of the social media platforms. You can follow me on X at @SOffenbaker with 2 Fs. You can follow Jeff at Jeff Carr. That's Jeff with 3 Fs. And you can follow the show at Locked On Reds. Also, make sure you head over to InsideTheReds.com and bookmark that site. Jeff's over there writing about the Reds. I'm over there writing about the Reds. And we're joined by a lot of talented guys also writing about the Reds. James Rapine, Audie Elmore, Rick Uccino. We're all covering the Reds in written form over at InsideTheReds.com. And don't forget, you can join our Discord community where we're talking Reds all the time between episodes. The link for that is down in today's episode description. You're going to want to get over there. We're talking Reds. We've got channels for the Bengals. We've got off-topic channels, all kinds of stuff for everyone. And we get to talk baseball with you, which is our favorite thing. So head over there to our Discord community. All right, without further ado, let's dive back into our conversation with Reds relief pitcher Lucas Sims. What a great conversation we're having with him. Can't wait for you to hear the rest. Here we go.
I know very recently you guys added to the family. I wanted you to tell us a little bit about the newest member of the Sims family.
Yeah, we did. We had another little girl on January 3rd. Nice. Brought in the new year. And so now me and the dog were outnumbered. Me and him, we got 2 boys, and now we got 3 girls in the family. And everybody's doing well. Everybody's happy, healthy, and trying to navigate 2 kids now, but it's fun. Everything's going really well.
Well, I'm a girl dad times 3, so I can relate to the being outnumbered. So
all right, yeah,
buckle up, Lucas. Buckle up.
Maybe I'll get some pointers. I'll take any advice I can get.
Well, what does the rest of the offseason look like for you? I know that, once the season ends, everybody kind of has a tendency to take a step back from the game. And then just outside of baseball, what does your offseason look like as far as an ability to kind of unplug and be Lucas Sims the guy versus Lucas Sims the baseball player?
Yeah, really, for me, it's just about catching up and catching up on time with family. Um, the schedule we have, it's so, we make a lot of sacrifices, and family as well. We're away a lot. And so really for me in the off season, it's kind of just being a dad, being a husband, kind of stepping away, trying to slow things down. And then, I don't know, then it just starts turning into preparation for the next year. How do we get better? And, I take a little bit of time off. I don't take much, but, take a little bit of time off. I still follow. I like watching the postseason. Follow that. And, it's really just kind of about spending time with family and, looking forward to spring.
Any golf or any Georgia football games or anything like that?
No golf. I used to golf, and then the back surgery in 2022. So golf is on the back burner for now, until retirement. But no, hang out with family, hang out with the dog. Sometimes we travel. We like to travel a good amount. This year a little bit less with expecting our second, but it's been good. We came out to Arizona November 1st, and we've been out here since for the off season.
You talk about that back surgery in 2022, and we talked to you in spring training beginning of last year, and you were working really, really hard to get back, and you were coming off obviously a disappointing season where you had that injury and had to have surgery, and you had expressed how hard you were working, and we saw the fruits of that. Last season, you appeared in a career high 67 games, which also led to a career high 61 innings pitched. How have you felt in the offseason, physically, after carrying that kind of workload, the biggest workload of your professional career in 2023?
I felt really good. I felt really strong. I felt, you prepare to pitch through the World Series. That's your ultimate goal. So I still felt like I was still ready to keep it going. But once the season does ultimately come to an end, it's time to kind of rest. Just kind of like ease into. I do like some easy movement stuff, some yoga and Pilates, but I don't really step on the gas per se. I need to keep it moving in October. Just just light catch. Just into a net or just something easy, just to keep the body moving, keep it loose. And then, once it's time to ramp up, it's not so much of a shock to the system. It's more of, okay, you're able to kind of keep that base, and then kind of build the base, build the motor per se, and kind of get into training a little bit more.
When you look back at that 2023, again, a career high in appearances, a career high in innings pitched, coming off of an injury, that has to be immensely satisfying to battle your way back. When you look at that 2023, what aspects of your game were you the most satisfied with, and what areas were areas that you would have liked to have been better areas to focus on and work on and get better at?
I think I was pretty proud of my availability. I feel like I was able to bounce back really well. A lot of that comes with experience of knowing, what I need to do. I've learned from teammates in the past, older guys who have had experience. I've been able to learn from them. Kind of what it takes to be ready to take the ball as often as you can. There's also kind of there's a mentality to it too, where, you're not going to feel great every day, but being able to have that kind of realistic talk with yourself and be like, you can do it, dig deep. It's there's kind of a mentality to it. It's not just me. We had a bunch of guys that took a lot of pride in being available to take the ball, wanting to take the ball, not shying away from that. Guys asking to pitch, and it's kind of just the culture that we've kind of created through there. Super proud to be part of that group. Anybody, I guess, that maybe followed my season, followed the Reds, probably glaring obvious is limiting free passes. some of it was situational where you come in and maybe the next guy on deck is probably a better candidate, a better matchup per se. You kind of have a base open where you're able to pitch around. But then there was also some, I call them boneheaded, whether lack of focus or whatever it may be. Trying to attack the zone more, kind of limit those free passes, and we kind of got a saying down in the pen. It's we're just trying to get off the field as fast as possible. We just say get off the field, and the less pitches generally the better. Get off the field, you're able to bounce back more, and be more available to pitch. So limiting those pitches and limiting those free passes are something that we've been training a little bit this offseason, and kind of been an emphasis for this upcoming season.
Really appreciate Lucas giving us some of his time and getting to talk with us a lot. I mean, really anticipating the season. Plus, we've got some great stories that he looks back on coming up on tomorrow's episode, part 2 of our conversation with Lucas. Make sure you don't miss that, and don't miss anything that we've got coming for you as we lead in to spring training. Subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and right here on YouTube, because we've got new content coming for you every single day, because we are Locked On Reds every single day.